Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. We've got a great lineup. We're going to be talking about many things that are there on the cards of Sports Extra today. Let's take a look. We will start off with our segment for cricket, of course, and in cricket we'll be discussing some very particular things. First of all, we will be discussing the fact that the PCB is now finally making some infrastructure changes, especially the talk of the town, which has been the biggest debate for Pakistan, has been there. But obviously before that, our players are winning big. Mohammad Rizwan has been named the Wisden T20 cricketer. It's not the first award. Before that, he's already won the award for ICC T20 Cricketer of the Year. And now Mohammad Rizwan's journey is phenomenal. At a time when he's not even part of the side, when he was included in the playing 11, there were all sorts of things that was said that he can't even clear the circle and things like this. But his journey is phenomenal to a fact now that he's a permanent member of the Pakistan squad in all three formats and also a permanent opening spot in the T20s as well alongside the captain Babar Azam. And I think the character, the discipline, the fitness, the patience, the temperament, the way he carries himself on and off the field, especially the character that he shows, we always talk about that, the way he talks and that element of being nice is just so great to witness from Mohammad Rizwan. So congratulations to him, obviously first batter to cross the 2,000 runs mark as well. We'll be talking about in detail about his journey regarding cricket and of course his aura as well. After that, we'll be talking about some more things as well on Sports Extra. Obviously, like I said, we've got a detailed lineup. Infrastructure changes are going to happen now with the PCB. They're going to be changing the pitches. That thought has now finally prevailed, and now it's practical work. You can see a video on your screens. This came from the Pakistan Cricket Board, where work has already begun. Dhaka grass is being implemented. If you talk about the soil, it's going to have a content of more than 80% of clay. That tells us that these are going to be bouncy tracks and very different to what traditionally we've seen in Pakistan as well. And obviously, there are things that we will witness in the near future, including infrastructure of National Stadium, Karachi and Gaddafi Stadium and Lahore as well. Tracks, of course, changing and the grass also changing. So a lot of things that are on the cards. We will talk about that in detail, what the sustainable model is, what about the maintenance, all the issues regarding these pitches as well. And then, of course, we'll be moving on. Talking about other things on Sports Extra that are also there as well. We will be talking about the English Premier League, where we have to talk about the points table as well. The race for being the champion is still on. Manchester City, of course, had a victory and now they're there to talk about the Premier League. And then, of course, we will move on to tennis, where we do know that Russian players have been banned from Wimbledon, including Belarusian players as well. To me, I think it's injustice. You cannot punish an individual for something their country is doing on a political basis. I think that totally needs to be nullified, and we'll see what the future has for these players as well. That is the lineup for Sports Extra today. We'll start off with cricket. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by a cricket commentator and our cricket expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm good. Thank you, Ahmed.
Good to have you on the show. We've also been joined on Sports Extra by senior cricket commentator, senior cricket expert, Leena Moin Aziz. Assalamu alaikum, Leena. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam, Ahmed, and hello to Asif also.
Well, certainly a lot of things that we need to talk about, and we will be talking about that. And just to give you a filler before that, and the big news from cricket that came in was, of course, Karen Pollard has announced the retirement. The all-rounder from West Indies played more than 121 days and more than 100 T20 internationals as well. A great career, but obviously he thinks it's time to move on. So certainly he has the right to move on as well. But great servant to West Indies cricket, and I think classy all-rounder when you talk about the flamboyant T20 game itself as well. Now coming back to our topics, Mohammad Rizwan, first of all, Leena, I mean the character, the journey, let's talk about that from a point where you're not part of the side, then to a point when you make it a side, people start saying all sorts of things that you can't clear the circle, and probably that ability was not there to be seen. At number 5, 6 was the number where he was most probably playing in those times, but what a journey.
Absolutely fantastic young man, this Mohammad Rizwan. I mean, his journey is fantastic. The hard work he had to put in, it is exemplary. If any young man wants to, come into cricket, Mohammad Rizwan is the right role model. Like you were saying, initially he didn't know what number he was had to play on, what were his strengths, his weaknesses. But then he worked on certain shots. You know that favorite shot of his, which he the slog sweep, come pull kind of shot. You know, the mixture of all that. The slog sweep and the sweep. So now he had to work immensely hard on that. You know, he plays that shot from outside the off stump sometimes, and that's never easy. So that's immense fitness, practice, hard work, self belief. He has a lot of self belief. He knows if if he flops in 1 or 2 innings, he will come back because he's done the basics, he's done the hard work, he's done the hard yards. So he is now in a very good space, mental space, and that's very important in cricket. So he's in good mental space, he's in good fitness, he's got some good form behind him, he's got some good innings behind him, he's got many awards behind him, rightly well deserved. So he's in a great space right now, and that allows you to do well in cricket. How he reads the game is also very important. He's great help for the captain. He is that kind of man where he is ready to be the captain. He's done that for the Multan Sultans, so he can, if need be, he can take over the captaincy at least one format for Pakistan. So he's right now. I mean, it's a dream come true for him, and especially if you remember Ahmed, that 5 or 6 years ago he couldn't even play the leg spin properly because his bat used to go towards cover, and the googly he just could not play. So he's worked on that. He's worked on all his small little weaknesses. Now he's a perfect package.
Perfect package.
Fantastic young man, this Mohammad Rizwan. I mean, his his journey is fantastic. The hard work he had to put in, it is exemplary. If any young man wants to come into cricket, Mohammad Rizwan is the right role model. Like you were saying, initially he didn't know what number he had to play on, what were his strengths, his weaknesses. But then he worked on certain shots. You know that favorite shot of his, which he the slog sweep, come pull kind of shot. You know, the mixture of all that. The slog sweep and the sweep. So now he had to work immensely hard on that. You know, he plays that shot from outside the off stump sometimes, and that's never easy. So that's immense fitness, practice, hard work, self belief. He has a lot of self belief. He knows if he flops in 1 or 2 innings, he will come back because he's done the basics, he's done the hard work, he's done the hard yards. So he is now in a very good space, mental space, and that's very important in cricket. So he's in good mental space, he's in good fitness, he's got some good form behind him, he's got some good innings behind him, he's got many awards behind him, rightly well deserved. So he's in a great space right now, and that allows you to do well in cricket. How he reads the game is also very important. He's great help for the captain. He is that kind of man where he is ready to be the captain. He's done that for the Multan Sultans, so he can, if need be, he can take over the captaincy at least one format for Pakistan. So he's right now. I mean, it's a dream come true for him, and especially if you remember Ahmed, that 5 or 6 years ago he couldn't even play the leg spin properly because his bat used to go towards cover, and the googly he just could not play. So he's worked on that. He's worked on all his small little weaknesses. Now he's a perfect package.
Indeed as well, but obviously that character stands out, and as Lina mentioned as well, how hard he's worked, not just on his fitness but his technical ability as well, and he's groomed himself. I mean, just the amount of how Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have been successful in the domestic circuit under him, multiple times champion, and then of course transcending that form to being the captain of Multan Sultans in the PSL, in international cricket. All great things to see. K. Asif Ahmed, what would you like to add about Mohammad Rizwan?
First of all, it's it's a big achievement when you are playing international cricket and you're looking to get such awards and nominations, of course. And he started his career in Peshawar Shama Cricket Club, and I've spoken to the president of Shama Cricket Club as well. And he said that initially when he came to our club, he was from really humble background, and he had to sell his television to purchase his cricket kit, and sharing this to our viewers. And then his grandfather was really angry because he was pretty much keen to watch cricket. And he said that, why you have sold out? He said, I didn't have the cricket
Don't mess
kit.
with Granddad's
Yeah.
TV.
So, and later on, I was sharing to my friends that his wife decided that to please quit from cricket, because you're playing cricket for a long time and you're not getting such momentum and success in 2015 and 16. And see, the way Ma'am Lena is telling, the way he started hard work in 2016 when I watched him first time in T20 while playing from Peshawar in Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, and the Peshawar was the champion. And courtesy his tremendous knocks, courtesy his tremendous form in batting, and after that, the way he started work hard in his wicket keeping, because you know that Kamran Akmal was there and Sarfraz was there. It was not easy to get a chance in international side, in international cricket, national side. So hats off to Rizwan, the way he started his hard work and the way he's doing. And especially in white ball cricket, we always talk about that his specialities. Yesterday I was talking to Miss Lena, and the way she was telling me that the way he play across the line, it requires the perfect technique. It requires the perfection.
We
and
discussed
the
this, that it
execution.
might not be textbook, but he plays it with such success that becomes one of his core strengths.
Yeah, this is what your specialty is, that how you're working individually hard and you're getting more momentum in your performance. And this is what we have watched in T20 World Cup in UAE, the way he played with Babar Azam, and after that, of course, that leading Multan Sultan and becoming champion, and the second time they're the runners up, and Lahore Qalandars won. But really exciting guy. And one thing you could see, the whatever going on in the match, he always smiles. This is really important, that you are facing and all the troubles with your bravery. So he is a fantastic guy and a huge prospect for the Pakistan.
Definitely, huge prospect indeed as well. We will talk about the character, because I think that's a role model to follow. The humbleness, even if he's asked tough questions in a press conference, he'll be very humble and he'll say, no, I just want to do my hard work, focus on my cricket. And we've heard so many stories, like Asif mentioned that, selling Granddad's TV. Like I said, don't mess with Granddad's TV. I mean, how dare you sell your Granddad's TV to play cricket? But then again, these are stories that make legends, and that's how legends are made. We've seen it in the past as well. These days, it's a very disappointing factor when I see our younger generation, all respect to them, that they're mostly looking for shortcuts because they've got so many resources. I still remember, me and Asif would remember this, that when we were playing club cricket without any facilities, grabbing water from miles away just to make a pitch, and things like these. So obviously Rizwan has gone through that phase, but now he's definitely a standout role model for the youngsters to follow. Just don't see that he's playing for Pakistan. See the character, see the discipline when we talk about this. I talked to Colonel Oshad as well, former Test cricket IC match referee, because he was part of the PCB's management. He used to travel as a manager, and he used to tell us that when other guys had other activities to do when they were off from cricket, he would still be working on his fitness and his technique, or he would be focusing on religion. So I think that really defines his standout personality. But moving from Mohammad Rizwan, coming to another big topic, and that is of course the infrastructure changes that the PCB is making. The pitches are now being changed. So Ramiz Raja was not just talk, he's practically implemented that. The first phase has been completed, where we've seen the video that is on your screen right now as well. And Lena, of course, you have the exact stat which tells us how much percentage of clay is going to be there and what are the changes that are being made.
Absolutely. I mean, Ramesh talked about the changes in the pitches when the last Qaid-e-Azam Trophy was happening. I was commentating, and then we all heard him say that, changes have to be made in order to make domestic cricket more competitive. And once domestic cricket becomes more competitive, pitches are better, players face a greater challenge, bowling and batting. Pakistan will get much better players, and the domestic cricket itself will become more interesting rather than dull draws. So he's walked the talk, Ramiz Raja, and that is why these pitches are being laid here. The clay content is around 87%, and that is a big percentage. So we will now probably get bouncier pitches and more pace. and therefore the batsmen will face more challenge, and the bowlers will have some excitement. Not that they'll be bowling for 2 days and the batting side would make 500 runs, and then they would start batting and their side will make 500 runs, and in the end there'll be loads of bonus points but no result. So now there will be results, there will be tougher challenge. Maybe a first year or two, batsmen will have to adjust to the greater bounce and pace. And then we will know which batsmen have the quality to come into Pakistan side. When these batsmen do well in Qaid-e-Azam Trophy and other domestic competitions on these pitches, slightly more bouncier and pacier, then we will know which are the right batsmen, which are the bowlers who have adjusted well. These conditions will be pretty similar to, say, Australian conditions, pace and bounce, and greater challenge. So we'll have to see exactly who does well, and the outfield is going to be softer, I believe. So the fielding should improve. It'll be easier to dive on those, outskirts of the ground. Overall quality of cricket will be improved in Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, and which will then help Pakistan cricket.
Asif, your thoughts? It's a big debate in Pakistan, but now finally practical work is on the go.
Really important, actually. And after watching Pakistan-Australia series in Pakistan, and especially first test in Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, as Miss Lina said, that even in our domestic circuit, that the teams are scoring more than 500 runs in the same this next team, and
after gets boring.
After 4 or 5 days, thank you very much, there won't be any result. So sometimes result does not matter if it's an interesting draw. Let me share some facts with you that the Sydney Cricket Ground, one of the favorite and admirable test center in the world, that is, and in last 10 test matches, they have 5 drawn. So it means that the 5 results and the 5 drawn. Same with the Eden Gardens, Kolkata. If you talk about the last 5 test matches, 4 of them with the results and 1 with the drawn. So if you talk about the Gaddafi Stadium, we're not talking because we did not have enough cricket in the last 20 years, because we were suffering with the menace of terrorism, of course. But now there's the way Ramiz Raja came up and the lead, and the way he said now he is fulfilling his promises, and that's why if you are going with your you're coming up with your words and you're fulfilling your words, it's really important about your character. So if you're showing character for the Pakistan cricket, of course we will applaud you, we'll praise your efforts. And the way Miss Lina is saying that now this is the real test for the batters. And the batters got a couple of months now, 3-4 months
to prepare,
to prepare yourself. This is the real test now.
Get your marble slabs out now.
Yes, there, and go even on the play on the grassy tracks. You can find, or maybe you can play it, and you can make it your in your lawn, and anywhere you get the
Marnus
place.
Labuschagne can do a spin lawn, so you can do it as well.
Yeah, that was his at his home actually. So you got the enough time. And let's suppose if our players and if our batters, especially if they are getting momentum and if they're getting technically good in these sort of tracks where we're expecting, that the 80% deliveries would be rising and the bouncing delivery. After a couple of years, see their confidence level, and when they will be playing in England, in Australia, New Zealand, anywhere in South Africa even, they will be more confident and they will be more brave to facing Mitchell Starc even in Sydney or in anywhere, or James Anderson, either he's bowling in Lords or anywhere, they would be capable to face him and to make proud to Pakistanis, because we always struggle against fast bowlers in green tracks, and this is what happens in Asia. Even this is the first step that we are working on the ground structure. We're working on the pitches. It's really important that you're bringing soil from Australia and grass from Dhaka. But the next step is that to work on the capacity of crowd. Because in Gaddafi Stadium, meanwhile, 27,000 the capacity is, and the National Stadium Karachi around 35,000. Whereas in Kolkata it's 68,000 and in Sydney it's 48,000. So I think step by step, improve your things, improve your structure, improve your...
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think that that's why I'm with Ramiz
Well, the
Raja.
world is looking towards capacities of 100,000 even.
Yes.
So I think we should definitely upgrade that, and facilities for players as well. We've always talked about the fact that we need a state-of-the-art stadium with a gym, a hotel inside as well, to minimize the commute of the players and hustle to the general public as well because of security
And
issues.
actually, this is the Ramiz idea is.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is. The idea is still there. Lina, one thing very important that people need to understand, the cricket fraternity and especially our respectable critical cricket journalists as well, that now because these are going to be new conditions, sort of alien conditions for these domestic lads in Pakistan for the very first time with a clay content such as you mentioned and the bounce, you might not expect the batters to perform exceptionally well in the first couple of seasons. Averages will drop, strike rates will be an issue. So obviously you got to have patience for the system to develop.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just the batters, Ahmed, also the bowlers, they'll have to adjust their line, because in Australia you bowl a different line, in England you bowl a different line, in Pakistan you bowl a different line. When we have these Australian style pitches, the bowlers will also have to adjust their line. If they get overexcited and start bowling short because it's got pace and bounce, and that does happen, so then they could be taken to the cleaners by the batsmen also. These batsmen, in the Qaid Azam Trophy are very competent batsmen. If you bowl short to them, no matter what the pace and bounce, they will take you to the cleaners. They'll pull you, they'll cut you. So the bowlers will also have to adjust, but the batsmen, yes, more adjustment required, because if they're bowling at the right length, which is slightly back of the length in Australian conditions, and sometimes even fuller, then the batsman will have problems. But the good batsman will adjust quickly, and that is when we will get to know which batsmen have more talent than some of the other ones, which ones have adjusted quickly, which ones can pace the pace and bounce better. So that's going to be very important. Also, the ball we were talking about the other day, all of us together off the air, and we were saying that the ball should be different. And I was just this when I came back home, I started to think about it, and we're all cricket thinkers, by the way. So I was thinking that, if we have Australian style pitches with pace and bounce, maybe we can have the Kookaburra will work well, because Kookaburra is a ball which is good in Australian or South African conditions. So if we have those pitches, then maybe Kookaburra will work well. But we'll have to see the first season how the Kookaburra also works on these pitches. Nevertheless, very exciting prospects.
Very exciting indeed, and I agree. I think, Asif, the problem with the Kookaburra and the current domestic season was because the pitches were flat, that the ball would just wear off, and there was not enough bounce because the Kookaburra is generally a softer ball. So what you need right now, if we change the pitches, but look, this is a very big debate. The ball has to change. That's one thing that we agree on.
Yes, that's right. And even if the bowlers are coming on the green tracks, like if we are making new pitches, and if they're coming with the Kookaburra, as Ma'am Lina said, that would be fine. Then it makes sense. But on the straight pitch and the pitch like before we were observing in Pakistan domestic cricket in the last season, that the first like 6 matches and no result. Even Ramiz Raja was blasted there, as Lina said that. So yes, the Kookaburra, or now the issue is that this is your first season. You'll be getting more experiences. It's your first experience. Let's see how the batters perform, and let's see how the bowlers perform. Come up with the Kookaburra. Ma'am said rightly, I agree with Ma'am that come up with the Kookaburra, because in Australian conditions, even in New Zealand somewhere, and in South Africa, if you do remember Mackay and Tini, Ma'am Lina would definitely share with us, the Mackay and Tini in Durban. Some of the test cricketers said that whenever he comes up in Durban Cricket Stadium with the Kookaburra ball, coming up with the commentary box, and we were pretty much scared because he was too much fast. He was coming, with the bounce on the bouncy track. It was pretty much dangerous.
Oh, great memories.
Yes, great memories. And so that's why I said that go with the Kookaburra. Let's go for the experience. It's the first time. And rightly said that please do not come up with the criticism, and criticism for the sake of criticism. Yes, if you are criticizing, then come up with a solution as well. This is the solution.
We always talk about the fact, and you always mention that, these days a disappointing factor that everybody is becoming a cricket analyst and expert. We respect their opinions, but to talk on a professional level and on another level is very disappointing.
Yes, that's right. And honestly, I don't want to say that, but I respect the youngsters, because I'm learning day by day, and the people like
all of us are.
Yes, yeah. We are, sitting with Miss Lina, getting more knowledge, getting more education. The only thing what I want to tell and this is my suggestion to my youngsters. Please, I would appreciate you to come up with the knowledge, read about the cricket, that what cricket is, and then if you are, analyzing or if you are criticizing, we'll be with you. But if you are coming without knowledge, without any
facts and figures,
even the basic knowledge of cricket, and if you are criticizing on the Test cricketers, it won't make any sense.
Absolutely,
and,
absolutely, it won't. But obviously that is something to follow as well. Very short on time, Asif Ahmed, thank you very much for joining us. Leena Moin Aziz, thank you to you as well. Always great having you. And the inside news, obviously, of the content of the pitches is really going to educate a lot in Pakistan. But great to have you on the show. That wraps our cricket segment up. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more on Sports Extra. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for some other things to discuss on the show as well. We've got a report first of all. Let's take a look and then come back.
It was the start of a chaotic first half as Timo Werner equalised with a deflected shot 4 minutes later before Emil Smith-Rowe showed a touch of class to beat Chelsea keeper Edouard Mendy.
Smith-Rowe! Oh, Arsenal have done it again! They've turned defence into attack once.
Chelsea were back on terms again before the break through captain Cesar Azpilicueta, but Nketiah pounced on a series of defensive errors in the Blues box to put Arsenal back in front just before the hour mark. Bukayo Saka was outstanding for Arsenal and he got the reward his performance deserved when he sealed the win from the spot in added time after he was hauled down by Azpilicueta.
A huge roar from the Gunners' support. What a win for Arsenal. A real test after 3 straight defeats, and they've stood up to that test.
On the other hand, Manchester City leapfrogged Liverpool back to the Premier League summit thanks to 3 second-half goals against Brighton. The goals relieved building tension around Etihad Stadium and leave City knowing 6 more wins are now required for Pep Guardiola's men to retain their title.
There you have it, English Premier League action. In studios, we've been joined by sports expert Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, Mohammad. I'm very well.
Well, Chelsea lackluster, but Arsenal's chances of making it to the top 4 still there.
Absolutely phenomenal. This is the Arsenal we like to see. Yesterday, an exuberance of youth actually took apart the experience of Chelsea. They were absolutely brilliant. You know, yesterday was all about counter-attacking football, Ahmed. The way Arsenal played from the onset, they were brilliant. I mean, they started off, Nketiah got the first goal, and then after that, Timo Werner, capitalized on a mistake by Arsenal. Then it was a game of to and fro. Then I believe it was Nketiah again got the goal. Saka came, Cesar Azpilicueta got a second, but then after that, Saka, got the rounded off a 4th goal. It was a brilliant performance by Arsenal.
The statement that Bruno Fernandes said after the Liverpool game, he said they're eyeing for the number 1 spot. They've got something to play for. We don't have that intent. Same thing with Arsenal. They're eyeing for that top 4. They've got an intent to play for it.
They have got an intent to play it, and that's the thing. With Arsenal, you saw that hunger, that desire, that willing to win. They know that that 4th position is so important. Emma, they've not made the Champions League since 2017, 2018. That's about 5 years. I mean, it's been a statement, and what a way to win yesterday.
Elsewhere, City keep their chances of winning the league alive. Obviously, they've got some easy fixtures, but Liverpool did make it to the number 1
Look,
spot.
I thought Liverpool were phenomenal, a couple of days ago. I think Liverpool, this is the best Liverpool team of all time. People can argue with me, debate, but the way they are playing, I mean, I genuinely am very worried, and so should you and all United supporters and other supporters. They have that quadruple
That ship
chance.
long sailed, Ali Mehdi.
No, I'm serious, Ahmed. The way they are playing yesterday, the way they ripped apart Manchester United, the way they've ripped apart all the other teams.
The quadruple is very much
That's what
in
I'm
the taking.
talking about. They've got that quadruple, that eye on the quadruple. And, the only trophy which could escape them is that Premier League, because the Premier League, Manchester City know that at this moment of time, that, they need to win each and every game of it.
We talked about the fact that City's got some relatively easy fixtures, if you talk about their campaign so far.
I think Manchester City relatively have some easy fixtures too. An important thing is that now they only have to focus on Champions League, and they've got to focus on the Premier League. Whereas Liverpool, still Manchester City on the other hand have easier games, but they know one slip up and Liverpool are going to win their 20th Premier League.
Elsewhere, I know might be a bit off track, but United's sufferings continue.
Look, Ahmed, I've been watching Manchester United for about honestly, I've been watching them for 25 years and this is the worst Manchester United team of all time. I'm serious about them. Even the 70s, 80s when they had that barren run, you know, when they didn't win the Premier League, too, they played better football. I mean, look at the way they played against, you know, arch rivals Liverpool. Absolutely appalling. Only 15%.
You expected 10. At least there were 4. I think that's the
No, I genuinely thought that United were going to lose 5-0 plus. I mean, on aggregate in the season, they've got 9.
Liverpool players were actually laughing at what a game this is.
No, actually, they felt sorry. The fans are feeling sorry. They had nothing to celebrate. You want to play against an aggressive team, a team which has intent, but it just wasn't there. I mean, the way Liverpool played, you have to give them a lot of credit. But look at Manchester United. They had no intent, no desire. It was like a League 4 team playing against, you know, they have a good squad. It's not like they have a bad squad, but you know, at least go out with a plan. If you can't score goals, at least, you know, but you park the bus, do something. But the problem is United lack the quality and lack direction.
But like what Ragnick said, and his statement came out that 8 to 10 players will have to go to make changes.
Well, they are going. You know, look, we have this Manchester United once again on the dawn of a new horizon. You have a new coach coming. Erin Ten Hag is most probably going to come. He's
the arrangements are finalized.
Ralph is going to, Ragnick is going into the administrative role too. So, and then you have so many players going out. Pogba's going, Mata is leaving, Lingard most probably is leaving, Matic is leaving too. So for that, it's going to be a new era for United. So a lot of players are going to be exiting the club too, and the important thing is to get new players in, quality players in, and at the same time, you know, there has to be a structural change, because until there's no structural change, United are going to continue to
How
suffer.
do you see the new manager coming now?
Look, Erin Hag has a very good, he's got...
So what I fail to understand is, what miracle can Erik Ten Hag pull off?
I don't think he can. I think they have to give him time. They genuinely have to give him time. You don't give him time, there's going to be a similar fate to Mourinho. You could say, I thought Louis van Gaal had a pretty decent time
Solskjaer.
too. And Solskjaer and David Moyes. The
My
thing
favorite.
over here is that, look, you know, the whole system, the hierarchy is rotten from top to bottom. This is what Gary Neville said. Until the owners don't change, until the whole structure doesn't change, until the mindset of, you know, focusing on football doesn't change, and from the commercial aspect to the football aspect, we're going to continue to see Manchester United, you know, fall, you know, in probably a mid-table team.
It absolutely looks adamant, because that has happened in the past with teams like Tottenham, with Arsenal, but somehow they've managed their way out of that because of support from the ownership.
Look, the owners, the thing over there is that they have an ownership which is interactive, you know. You could talk about Tottenham. Tottenham have had so many managers who've come and gone, and has a direction. Arsenal, you could say too, Kroenke, you know, he's brought about Arteta. And look, Arteta's won, he's won the FA Cup in 2022, and he's done very well for them. You know, whatever they could say about them.
Well, Arsenal is working on the plan. So.
They're working on the plans. They won a couple of trophies, the FA Cup in 2020 and in I believe earlier too. So in 2017 too. United haven't done anything for 5 years. And the thing is, Arsenal have a direction. They have some, look at the way they played yesterday. They have intent.
Absolutely.
You know, for
but
that reason.
It is, as people say, that you can either win football games or you can just sell T-shirts. So I think the priorities are pretty much there for United, how the way things are going. Nonetheless, more things to talk about. Moving on to tennis now. Big news from the world of tennis came that Wimbledon has banned Russian and Belarusian players from participating in the Wimbledon Championships. Obviously, certain reasons, Ukrainian war, political turmoil there as well. But players like Daniel Medvedev not being part of the Wimbledon, absolutely shocking. And although I respect Wimbledon's decision, but I do think that you know, punishing an individual for something that their home country is doing, their political hierarchy doing, is injustice.
You should never mix politics in sport. I think we've been saying that, you know, since the inception of the show, never mix politics in sport. And this is the problem, you know, with Wimbledon. Look, Wimbledon probably got these got this decision, and, you know, were told that, you know, from the UK government that, you know, you not to allow Russians and Belarusians to participate, and that's very unfortunate. But now, you know what happens is that, you know, making it political makes that you're not going to have the creme de la creme. You're not going to have Daniel Medvedev. You're not going to have Rublev. You're not going to have Karen Khachanov. And from the women's side, you're not going to have Sabalenka, you know, the world number 2, who reached the semi-finals last year participating, and Pavlyuchenkova. So it makes no sense. And look, star Elena Svitolina actually came up in this morning and she spoke on social media that, look, if they reject the war, if they abstain from the war, let them play. Why? Just because of their nationality doesn't mean...
Individually, like you mentioned, it's wrong. But I still believe that, okay, in the Olympics, they had a chance to play under a neutral flag. It's not going to happen there. They're going to suffer. Their tennis and guys like Medvedev, who are on the top of their game, might be one of the contenders to win the Wimbledon. You never know. So it's injustice. But you believe that these players still have a right. They can probably take it to CES, the Court of Arbitration.
I think they should take it to the CES. It's not their fault. I mean, if you're born and bred in Russia, just because of your nationality, you're not being allowed to play. I think it's injustice. I think it's social injustice. And for that reason...
Not a level playing field. In the past, we've seen atrocities from Israel even that have not been condemned. And their teams have been allowed to participate.
Look, whenever you miss politics in sport, you're always going to have these debates. You're always going to have these problems. So it's very unfortunate. And I think the most important aspect of this, Ahmed, this is going to spill over to the US. Then what happens in the US Open, they might not allow these players to play too. And then, the American circuit in the autumn, for that reason too, then, these players won't be allowed to play. So
then a boycott might start.
A boycott might start, and it's open a huge conundrum.
Very true. Ali Mehdi, thank you very much for joining us. That wraps Sports Extra. But before we go, like in the start of the show, I did mention that Karen Pollard, the West Indian all-rounder, has called retirement on his career of international cricket. We've got a report on that. We'll leave you with that from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.
The legendary West Indies all-rounder Kieron Pollard has announced his retirement from international cricket. The 34-year-old Pollard announced that he has called time on a 15-year international career in order to make room for those who will carry the game forward in West Indian colours. Pollard was a West Indian trailblazer in white ball cricket, becoming the first men's player to represent West Indies in over 100 T20 international matches, and also pulling on the maroon shirt 123 times in one-day internationals. The Trinidadian was a key member of the team that won ICC T20 Cricket World Cup in 2012 and only missed West Indies' triumph at the 2016 tournament due to injury. In total, Pollard scored 2,706 runs and took 55 wickets in one-day international cricket. And in T20 International, he racked up 1,569 runs at a strike rate of 135.14, while also picking up 42 wickets with his handy medium pace. But after 222 West Indies appearances, Pollard has now decided to hang up his international spikes, announcing the news on his social media channels. The legend